Well, hi there, my faithful viewers, if any at all. So, today I am going to talk about a movie I just got home from. Yep, the movie being Clerks 3. Now, this is a limited release movie, so I Google where your nearest cinema is. I mean, I had to travel a fair bit to get there, rather than my local cinema. But, anywho, to put into context, Clerks was, it's about a couple of convenience store clerks set in the 90s, and it's basically a day in the life of two convenience store clerks with, raunchy dialogue and just see it. It's just mostly talking, and there's a load of sex, dick, and fart jokes, and weed jokes. So, which introduced the characters Jay and Silent Bob. And then Clerks 2 came out, back in 2006, which we saw as was a conclusion to the Clerks saga at the time. And now we have got Clerks 3. Now, spoiler alert for anybody. Okay, I am not going to reveal any spoilers for this movie, but if you're watching this, I'm going to assume you've seen the first two. So if you've gotten to that point and you haven't seen the first two, stop watching right now. Go see them. Okay, first chance, second chance, third chance. Spoilers. Okay. So in the first movie, it's about two 20-somethings, in the lives of convenience stores, and they're kind of seeing their old classmates come and go, and it kind of reminds them where they are in life, and okay, they're wondering, oh, I'm not supposed to be here today and stuff. Then Clerks 2 comes out, which is set 10 years after. Okay, they're in their early to mid-30s. They feel like, oh, we're getting old, and so it kind of it's got kind of melancholy style while still having that raunchy humour. But it's broaching the fact, getting old, life moving on, and stuff like that. So first movie was like, they're seeing their classmates. Then fewer and fewer people from your childhood are still around. So it's like the two main characters, Dante and Randall, they're still around, and they're like, everything's passing them by around them, and they're the ones that you're going through the convenience store. They've worked there for 20 years. So it kind of develops as they get older. The style of the comedy kind of... it moves away from the raunchy, juvenile humour that Kevin Smith is known for, and kind of makes it a bit more melancholy. Like, Clerks 2 kind of did a little bit of that, but then it continued in that same direction with Clerks 3. So, the story of Clerks 3. Well, they're still working they're running the convenience store, and Randall, one of the two main protagonists, Dante, who is like the straight man who tries to be a bit more normal, a bit more sensible, whereas Randall's kind of the guy who does as he pleases, and he just doesn't give a damn about what people think about him. So in that movie, he has a heart attack and nearly dies. Mirroring Kevin Smith's heart attack from a few years ago, so that must have influenced it. And he contemplates his life, nearing 50, and he's like, you know what, I'm going to make a movie about their lives, which kind of mirrors the story about how Kevin Smith made Clerks. I mean, for example, they said, it's going to cost $25,000. Oh, $27,500 to be exact. That was... I can't remember the exact figure, but it was like they quoted the exact figure that the original Clerks cost to make. Which was famously financed by maxing out 10 credit cards, Kevin Smith selling his comic book collection, and collecting insurance money for a car that got lost in a flood. Well, that's what I heard anyway. So anyway, it continues in that direction, and without revealing any spoilers, I'm going to try hard not to, just for this one. So, spoilers for the first two, but not this one. Let me remind you. Let me just say that it was kind of an emotional gut punch. I mean, you thought Clerks 2 was melancholy and had that kind of almost grey undercurrent. I don't know. Yeah, grey, I suppose. The way I think about it, where the happy movie is all sunny and then it kind of all grey. There's almost like a grey cloud hanging over it. But this is actually kind of proper, okay, this is real. I mean, it's still funny. I mean, it's still got that humour, but the films evolve as the characters age, which is brilliant. I mean, steers away from the juvenile humour Kevin Smith is known for. It still has it, but it realises that. And I think this is honestly Kevin Smith's best movie since Zack and Miri Make a Porno. Yeah, criminally underrated movie with Seth Rogen in it. So if you want to see a movie with Seth Rogen, go see that. Anyway, back to the Clerks 3. It's got these, like, you know, cameos from people who'd worked with Kevin Smith before. And yeah, mostly there's this big audition scene where they're going through many different auditionees. They're trying to read out a line, and it's like a conveyor belt of cameo parts, which I won't say who, but that's what it was. So yeah, trying to get some cameo parts, and they actually bothered, because Kevin Smith, the first movie was filmed using just any friend he could pluck off from anywhere, and they never pursued acting careers, but they got them to return for cameos in this movie, which, great attention to detail, and kind of, well, they do say that fan service is often done a disservice to the movie, but this one, it really hasn't. I mean, I got a few chuckles here and there. I mean, so yeah, some of the humour, I was like, oh, you wonder, am I too old to laugh at this? But no. Well, I am a big kid at heart. So yeah, when the movie ended, I mean, well, let me put it this way. When there's a really shocking episode of, I don't know, whether it's Game of Thrones or... Yeah, they have, you know, instead of having the music during the credits, that boom, 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 boom. No, yeah, literally, you know, when you're letting that emotional part sink in, and then there's the credits, which is totally quiet. Just no music, just staring at the screen. I mean, there was music to the credits of Clerks 3, sorry. But I was just looking at it, I mean, emotional. So imagine that, watching out for the, I don't know, post-credits scene or whatever. You get a talk from Kevin Smith, which it's not technically a spoiler, but you get, yeah, watch for the post-credits, during the credits, you know, talk. So then the movie ends, credits ended. And I was in a cinema with only 5 people, including myself. As soon as it ended, I was literally... It was quiet. I mean, I could literally hear my footsteps walking out, which you don't hear in a cinema with other people. So I walk out, contemplating that ending, in that emotion, and then walking through a deserted shopping centre. Yeah, it was like the mood was uninterrupted by people bustling, talking about the movie. So yeah, cars passing by, people passing by. It was all the way to the train station. I was literally thinking, wow. I mean, I can't reveal any spoilers, but this is... I mean, Kevin Smith, well done. I mean, literally, a lot of people would write a sequel and you want it to be more or less the same. This evolves from Clerks 1 and Clerks 2. I mean, it was an emotional gut punch. I mean, it's hard to come up with other words without rambling, but yeah, literally just give it a watch and you will be... I mean, this is Kevin Smith back on form. Yeah, definitely the best movie he's made since Zack and Miri. I mean, he made Clerks 2. Good. Zack and Miri, it was still good. Yeah, not his Askew-niverse, but it was still the same kind of humour, but criminally underrated. Then he kind of dabbled a little bit in horror films. Red State, okay, and... Yeah, I think Cop Out. Oh, God. God, that was bad. But yeah, I mean, he did go through a bit of a wobbly period. I mean, Jay and Silent Bob Reboot was basically the same movie as Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I mean, it had its moments. It was clever, but at the same time, it missed the mark for me. But Clerks 3 is Kevin Smith back on form. Yeah, give it a watch whilst you got the chance, because it's a limited release, so I don't think it'll be on the cinemas very long. But failing that, give it a watch. I mean, especially if you're a Kevin Smith fan. I mean, this is definitely his most emotional film since Chasing Amy. Well, don't take my word for it. I mean, give it a see for yourself. Okay, cheers.